guys, how you doing? Hey. All right, so I wanted to start out today just to first I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Kevin Quinn, and I have a question for you guys. So, are any of you guys interested in you can raise your hand if you're interested in doing something in theater in the future? Yeah, a lot of you. I was the same way. This is what I love, and this is what I've always loved. So I'll tell you a little bit about some of my experiences and a piece of advice that I got when not too long ago, and I was actually in Los Angeles, and I met with a Hollywood manager, and he told me a really important piece of advice. He had a client. Some of you may know her as Katniss Everdeen. Her name is Jennifer Lawrence. And he said that one amazing thing about Jennifer Lawrence is that when she was first getting started, she was fearless. And she was fearless in the way that she took risks. She was not afraid of rejection. And she was constantly putting herself out there. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about how when I was, not too long ago, I was 15, and I put myself out there. So, I started playing baseball when I was in middle school. I played baseball. I had no interest in theater personally, but my buddy Nathan, back in the day, said, "Hey, you should come try out for CTW." And I said, "Well, okay, why not?" So I came to CTW, I tried out, and that first moment of being on stage for me was the start of something that changed my life. And I found something that I loved. And so I decided, I'm never going to stop doing what I love. And if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So I tried out for CTW. I did Good News. I did My Fair Lady. I only wish that I had done CTW sooner, because I started in 8th grade, because I just didn't know about it. And it led to a lot of things. And one of the things that I did sophomore year, I was doing theater at New Trier, which, by the way, New Trier has an outstanding theater program. You guys, trust me, you will learn so much if you enter the theater program at New Trier. So I was a sophomore, and I decided to take a risk. I went online and I submitted a video audition tape to American Idol. And I ended up getting a call a week later from the producer of American Idol saying, "We want to fly you out to Los Angeles." So they flew me out to Los Angeles, and I ended up, meeting some really cool people. I met Keith Urban, I met Nicki Minaj, I met Randy Jackson, the infamous Randy Jackson. And it was a really cool experience, and I got to show them what I was made of, and I got to show them, my voice, and I got to perform for them. And so I ended up getting cut at the group rounds in Hollywood. But one thing that led to was me kind of getting a little bit of a discovered here in Chicago. And an agent reached out to me and said, "Hey, Kevin, you want to come and audition for our agency here in Chicago? We would love to have you. We'd love to see you." And I said, "Sure, absolutely." So I went in. I ended up getting a job at the agency, and I was 15 then. And I am now 17, and I will be. I've done a lot since then, I guess. I was very fortunate to do some work on. With my agency, I did a student film. I started out really small doing student films. I did an independent film. And then I ended up landing a role on an episode of the TV show Chicago PD. And Chicago PD, I was in an episode of that, and that was very fun. I got to meet a lot of cool people on that. And one of the most important things about acting, I think, is the more you do it, the better you become. It is such an art, and it's such a practice that you constantly have to be on your game, and you have to push yourself. It's a job. And people think, "Oh, I want to be a movie star." You can't. It's totally possible. You just have to work for it. But if you have the love for it, then you can work for it, and it's an amazing job. I love it. So, and then I did an episode of Shameless, which is a TV show. And then I got some work in theater around here in Chicago. And just like CTW, I became a member of the Chicago theater community. And I can, I'm very comfortable going back to some of those theaters and saying hi to people I once knew, and I still know. And so when I went out to what's called pilot season in Los Angeles, that's when you audition for TV shows because all kinds of networks are casting new shows, stuff like that. I ended up going out there and I landed a role on a Disney TV movie called Adventures in Babysitting. And it's a remake of the old 1987 movie. And I met a lot of cool people there. I don't know if you guys have ever met a girl named Sabrina Carpenter or ever heard of her. I'm good friends with her. So I did Adventures in Babysitting, and things just kind of took off. And one of the things I think is important for you guys to know is that, seriously, anyone, if you have the passion and you have the love of theater, there's so much opportunity out there. And even, if acting isn't your thing, there's cinematography or production design, or there are entertainment attorneys if you're into like law and business. And it's just such a great community, and I love going to work every day because I love it. So that's my story. And being back here is kind of where my story all began. And so it's really special for me because this will always be my home. And the first thing that I ever had on my resume was Children's Theater of Winnetka. And people to this day still ask me, oh, you did Children's Theater of Winnetka. Okay, that's how was that? Was that a community theater? And I said, yeah, absolutely. It was, it was one of the best times of my life. And, that's something I will always have special to my heart. So